In an exclusive conversation with ET Now, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala says that he is concerned about the impact of inflation on Indian equities and says it is indeed the biggest risk for markets. Jhunjhunwala says that the next 3 months are likely to be a very difficult period for the markets.
I think the next 3 months are going to be a very difficult period for the markets. I would say that the chances to break down to me seem to be greater than the chances to break up, at least in the next 3 months.
Do you see 5,000 acting as a base for this market?
Well, Nikun, that is difficult to say, but I mean, I would think so. 5,000 is markets 4,800, 5,000 is a level I think the market will surely find very strong support if it goes there.
So what is the biggest risk for Indian markets currently?
I think the headwinds under the Indian market, the most important thing I think is inflation. Because inflation controls everything, interest rates, growth. Then I think the second headwind is the sheer government inaction. Although I think we have very good people at the helm of government and they know what needs to be done, and I mean, but politically we are not able to get any consensus at all. There was hope of some big reform after the elections, but I think nothing has happened until now. And unless we get some kind of a reform in the subsidies and some kind of a clear roadmap for the DTC and the goods and sales tax, GST, I think markets are waiting for that.
But would you bang the table and say that, or predict rather, that in next 3 years, Sensex will be at least 50% higher than where it is?
Well, I am extremely bullish in the longer period. I think 3 months, unless until we get clarity on the monsoons, I think which we'll get by August 10. And we'll see what kind of government action comes through. I think until then, markets are going to have a downward bias. I mean, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, I am extremely bullish.
Do you think the golden period for Indian equities is not over?
I think it's not even started.
So let me get this right, and this is one point I don't want to get it wrong for our viewers. Near term, you are not bullish, but your long term outlook is still intact.
Absolutely. And near term, I mean until things clarify in August. It depends how events turn out. If the monsoon is good and commodity prices ease, which I personally expect, oil price to be at $80, $85, maybe $85. Then I think, and some government action comes through, it becomes, inflation may not have come down, but it becomes apparent that in the future months inflation is going to come down, right? Then I think the Indian markets will have a very strong ride after that. So what I'm essentially saying is the next 2 to 3 months are uncertain. Depending on how events turn out, the period for the next 9 months could be very good or could be okay.
But is the rampant speculation in commodities over?
I don't think so. I think speculation commodities all-time high.
But insiders tell me that you've been short commodities of late.
Yeah, I'm shorting some commodities. I am short.
How come you've not made any large investments in last 6 months? Delta Corp was the only large investment you made, and that was just before Diwali.
I applied for a loan to my father-in-law. When he sanctions it and disburses it, I'll make it. I'm fully invested, Nikunj. And all that I've done in my life is investing. So I thought, even if I have some money, let me buy something else. Yeah.
But if you had enough capital, do you see currently enough opportunities which are available?
See, I'm always capital short. Right? If I see the opportunity, I'll get the money. So if I see an opportunity, I'll surely invest.
Are you excited that Titan is at an all-time high, your biggest investment?
Well, I say excited, I'm happy. I'm happy that the company has proved itself to be an extremely good, robust company with very good growth prospects, now getting very aggressive. I'm extremely very happy, really. But
you're still of the view that Titan potentially could be $1 billion investment for you?
Well, I'm hopeful now it should be more than that.
More than $1 billion?
Yeah, why not?
Why is Titan an exciting business to own?
Because, its business has the highest entry barriers. They have good growth. They have excellent management. They're expanding very aggressively, right? And they have good brands. So, I think retailing is going to be one of the biggest growth stories in India. And Titan is in a sector where it dominates, whether watches or jewelry. And now they're coming to frames. I think they could enter other areas also. So with such high entry barriers and growth and, very high return on equity and good positive cash flows, Titan surely is in a very sweet spot.
What about the P multiple? If you look at estimates, and again, I'm looking at the consensus estimates.
By any measure of measurement, it's expensive. But good stocks always remain expensive.
That's the investor Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. But what is the trader Rakesh Jhunjhunwala thinking and doing?
Thinking and doing? I'm trading. I mean, I feel markets have more, at least for the next 3 months, has more downsides than upsides.
So broadly speaking, can I safely assume that the trader Rakesh Jhunjhunwala is short or he's not bullish?
I won't like to, I'm certainly not bullish. And let's not discuss my trades.
So where do you think the new leadership in the markets could emerge from?
I think Titan could be one of the leaders.
Even after this run-up?
Yeah, why not?
It's interesting, if I look at your investment portfolio, you don't own any Nifty 50 or Sensex 30 stocks. Why is that?
Well, I hope to own some of those. I hope that some of the stocks which I own will become part of the Nifty or Sensex.
So apart from Triton, which other stock has the possibility of being part of Nifty 50?
Lupin. Lupin's a very large company now.
What makes you so bullish on Lupin? Because the Indian pharma business...
It's growing well. They've done well. They're growing well. I think they're doing well in Japan, America.